Radical new terrorism laws are being considered by the state government to prevent attacks before they happen. Under the proposal, suspects could be monitored and detained for weeks without charge.
From the outset, the Premier was clear these new laws would come at a cost.
If curbing the rights of a small number of people is what's required to keep the Victorian community safe, then I won't hesitate to do it.
But in the wake of sieges in Brighton and Sydney and recent attacks abroad in London, the state says it's time to be tougher, announcing a review by former Judge David Harper and former Police Commissioner Ken Lay.
Nothing's off the table.
Key among the proposed reforms, increased police powers, with plans for suspects to be placed on watch lists, forced into de-radicalisation programs, even detained without charge for up to a fortnight. Greater legal protection for police who use deadly force is also on the agenda after the scathing coronial findings following the Lindt Cafe siege. The review will also consider powers to impose curfews on suspects and ban them from associating with certain people, along with internet restrictions and the authority to monitor suspects' devices and track them using GPS. The opposition claims it's more talk when Victorians want action.
What other jurisdiction in the world would wait possibly months to make changes to terror laws that are so urgent today?
While human rights and civil liberties groups were unusually quiet on the issue today, the public wasn't, with many people backing the proposal, saying the threat of terrorism is now all too real.
It's needed now.
If we get there, it'll be too late. It's a murky line, isn't it?
Recommendations are expected in the next few months. Christy Mayer, 7 News.
Premier has ordered a full review of anti-terrorism legislation in the wake of the Brighton attack. Former Chief Commissioner Ken Lay will investigate what police need and how best to handle potential extremists. More from James Talia.
The state government is trying to reinforce that the terror threat is real, it's current and it's here.
It is global, but it's local as well. We know that from terrible events in Brighton and, of course, before that, shocking, terrible events in Sydney.
Former Chief Commissioner Ken Lay and ex-Appeal Court Judge David Harper will assess what the justice system needs to combat terrorism. Chief Commissioner Graham Ashton, even though he was hired as a counter-terrorism specialist, will be under scrutiny. One of the key items of business will be how to detain terror suspects who haven't been charged or sentenced if they pose a threat.
I'm looking forward to actually testing Graham. Understanding his thinking, testing the processes, testing the legislation, testing the systems.
We need changes to our bail system. We need changes to our sentencing regimes, all of which need to be done straight away. No more reviews. We need to get on and make these changes straight away.
Continuing tightening of restrictions on terrorism suspects is provoking concern among civil liberties groups, but the Premier has indicated it's not a concern he shares.
We understand that our diversity is a great strength. Our diversity is a precious asset, and we need to be very careful and mindful to be respectful in this. But if you pose a threat, you're not an agent of faith.
An initial report is expected in weeks and a final report within months. James Talia, 9 News.